Welcome to the Depth Dive. Today, we're zeroing in on something that feels really basic, but actually hides a ton of complexity. Just two simple words. Takeout.
Yeah, sounds super simple, right? Takeout. But when you dig into it, this little phrasal verb, well, it's got at least 7 totally different lives. It really runs the gamut,
Yeah.
from your basic B1 level English all the way up to some pretty tricky C1 slang.
And that's what we're doing today, mapping out that huge range. Because if you hear someone say maybe they had to take out the old server, what pops into your head first? Are you thinking removal or are you thinking, well, destruction? We're going to trace how context just changes everything for this phrase.
Well, that's the thing with phrasal verbs, isn't it? They're always a bit tricky. The verb itself stays the same, takeout, but the meaning just flips depending on, the noun that follows it, the object. So you almost have to stop thinking of takeout as one idea. It's more like a tool that works in 7 different ways. Let's start with the most basic, the really physical meaning.
Okay, yeah. Let's peel back all the idiomatic stuff, the slang, the finance talk for a minute. What's the absolute core action of takeout?
At its heart, the most literal meaning is just to remove something from somewhere. Simple as that. Pulling something out. And this is where you often see the object splitting the verb, like take the object out. It really emphasizes that movement away from a place.
Right, this is the everyday stuff, like the classic one. I take out the trash, super physical, no big deal, happens all the time.
Exactly, and you see it in loads of situations where something is physically separated. She is taking out the books from the shelf, simple removal. Or even something a bit more technical, like he took out the SIM card himself, carefully pulling it out of the phone.
That's interesting. So whether it's trash, which you're getting rid of, or a SIM card, which you might need, the action is the same, just removing it from where it was, the most basic kind of removal.
And that basic idea, that physical removal, actually leads pretty naturally into our second meaning, which is, well, probably one of the most common ways you hear takeout used day to day, especially in North America.
Ah, okay. The food meaning. When removing suddenly involves dinner.
Precisely. Meaning number 2, to buy food in a restaurant and eat it somewhere else. Getting food to go.
Right. And we should probably mention the UK difference here, shouldn't we? Over there, it's almost always takeaway, yeah? But here, takeout food is like part of the culture.
Oh, absolutely. Think about common phrases like, we usually take out pizza on Fridays. Or maybe, she's taking out Chinese food tonight. You've literally removed the food from the restaurant to eat it, well, somewhere else, usually home.
Yeah, it's funny how normal that sounds. You can even describe a whole period like, he's been taking out lunch all week because he's too busy to cook. It shows it's not just a one-off action like taking out a SIM card, but maybe part of your routine, a lifestyle thing.
Okay, so now let's switch things up. What happens if the object we're taking out isn't trash or pizza, but a person? The meaning shifts quite dramatically. We move away from literal removal into something more like social investment.
Right, that brings us to the third meaning, to go somewhere and do something with someone, and you're usually the one planning it and, importantly, paying for it. There's a sense of responsibility.
Yeah, it's a social transaction. The obvious example is often romantic, like he takes out his girlfriend every Friday. Sounds like a date, right? Implies effort, maybe some money spent.
Definitely. But it's broader than just dates, isn't it? Context is key again. You might hear they were taking out new clients for lunch. Same action, taking out, but the goal is totally different. It's not romance, it's business, building relationships, networking.
Exactly. But the common thread is that the person doing the taking out is kind of the host. They did the planning, they're probably picking up the tab. Even if you said you were taking out your cousin, it sounds more organized, like you're in charge of the outing, not just, casually meeting up. There's a subtle hierarchy maybe, or at least planning involved.
That's a good point. It implies an investment, time, money, maybe emotion, depending on who it is. Okay, so that's people. What about just money? Pure finance.
Well, that moves us neatly into meaning number 4, to get money from a bank account. Basically, withdrawing cash.
Ah, the ATM trip. I usually take out cash on Fridays. Or maybe there are rules, like you can take out up to $500 a day. It's quick, transactional, pretty straightforward.
And linguistically, it's actually quite similar to the first, meaning the physical removal. You're actively taking an object, cash, out of a container, the bank account, or the ATM. It's so common it works easily in the passive too, right? $100 is taken out from my account. The idea of financial separation mirrors that physical separation.
Okay, that makes sense. Removing money from a secure place. But that's usually small amounts, relatively speaking. What about the bigger financial stuff? Like, Formal agreements.
That brings us to meaning 5. This one feels a bit more formal, more B2 level, maybe a bit bureaucratic. To obtain a formal service or agreement from an organization involving arranging it and paying for it. Think big institutions.
Right, like mortgages, insurance policies, stuff like that. She took out a mortgage yesterday. That's a much bigger deal than taking out $20 from the machine.
Or it could be official documents, not necessarily just huge sums of money. Things like, you must take out a visa before you travel. Or maybe intellectual property. He took out a patent last year. These are all official, binding things you obtain.
So the key difference between taking out cash, meaning 4, and taking out, say, a loan, meaning 5, isn't just the amount, it's the formality, the commitment.
Exactly. It's a formal arrangement. And, to link it back again, the reason takeout works here is that you were essentially extracting or securing something formal, a document, an agreement, a policy from that institution. You're taking it out of their system and into your possession. It's a kind of official legal removal.
Okay, this is where it starts to get, well, really unexpected, I think. We're leaving behind physical stuff, food, people, money, and heading into purely idiomatic uses, where the meaning feels kind of disconnected.
Yeah, this meaning number 6. And this one can be genuinely confusing if you haven't encountered it before. It's all about emotional impact, or rather exhaustion.
Let's nail this one down carefully. It's not about taking someone out on a date or taking out the trash. It's being emotionally drained or sort of neutralized by something irritating or overwhelming. Is that right?
That's a good way to put it. Neutralized. Something has just completely wiped you out, energy-wise, sapped your patience or your ability to cope. Crucially, it's about being affected, not affecting someone else. It's a solid B2 level idiom, and yeah, it feels miles away from ordering pizza, but uses the exact same word. Meaning number 7. This is definitely more C1, often slangy, to kill someone or destroy something. Simple as that. Elimination. Termination.
Yeah, you hear this a lot in like military context, crime stories, or even video games. He took out the final boss, total destruction of the opponent.
Or, darker real-world stuff. The sniper was taking out enemy patrols. The intention is lethal, final. But it's not always about killing people. It can be about destroying objects or systems, too. Like, they need to take out the infected servers, meaning destroy them or disable them completely, or even abstract things. That new virus takes out thousands of computers.
Wow. Okay, so we literally went from taking out the garbage, something totally mundane and routine, all the way to taking out a target or a system. Total elimination.
But here's the fascinating link. If you think about taking out the trash, meaning 1, and taking out an enemy, meaning 7, fundamentally, both involve eliminating something from its current place or state. The only difference is the gravity. One is trivial, the other is absolute. But a core action, linguistically, holds.
That structure holding across such vastly different outcomes, that's really what makes takeout so flexible and, well, kind of powerful. #outro.
So just to wrap it all up, what a journey for one little phrase. We started with the physical, taking out trash. Then food, taking out dinner. Then people, taking out a date or a client. Then we hit the bank, taking out cash. Then the big institutions, taking out a loan, a mortgage, a patent. And finally, the really idiomatic stuff, being taken out by annoyance and, well, taking out a target.
7 distinct meanings packed into takeout, and the big takeaway really has to be that the phrase itself is almost empty until you know the object. The trash, the pizza, the client, the cash, the mortgage, the feeling, the target, that tells you everything.
Absolutely. It shows the challenge, right? This one verb structure covers B1 basics, B2 formal stuff, right up to T1 slang. As a listener, as a speaker, you have to instantly read the context, the object, the tone to figure out which of the 7 meanings is in play.
So maybe something to think about next time you hear or use takeout. Consider that power dynamic we touched on. When you take out a book from the library, you have all the control, simple removal. But compare that to being taken out by a migraine or someone's annoying habit, like in euphrasiques. Suddenly, you're the one being acted upon, made passive, drained by an external force.
Yeah, it's amazing how those same 2 words, take out, can signal both complete control and complete vulnerability. How often does that happen with such a simple phrase in English? It really shows you the power and maybe the weirdness of phrasal verbs. Definitely something to chew on until our next deep dive.